Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get you all back. It was spotty on my side too. I saw that, like, doing that stuff. So I was just about to bring Gary Lambert on, and hopefully he jumps back on. Are we here? Okay, I see one. I see you. I don't know what's going on, guys. There's some gremlins in the house. Just trying one more time, Gary, to see if I could bring you online, but I just can't. It just doesn't want that to happen. So, I can't get this. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to say goodbye to Josh and Chloe and Colin, and call my friend Gary Lambert. Thank you for finding me. Sorry about that. I was excited, I guess. Cause everyone I love is here. I see you. I'm going to see you again right now. Lost Cookie. Lost Jeremy. Hey, Bob Burford.
Here I am.
Hey, Gary Lambert.
Hey, Jenna Mammina.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. What's going on? What a nice surprise to see Josh Jones.
Wasn't that great? I Facebook Live them on my Facebook Live.
That's very cool. I love that cat, man. I haven't seen him in way too long.
And that's his wife, Chloe.
Yeah.
And then Colin.
I know Josh going way back to the earliest days of the Hieroglyphics Ensemble.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
People say don't let it get to you. Sometimes you have to let it get to you.
You have to.
And it's kind of gotten to me the last couple of days.
I hear you.
But I'm also trying to keep perspective on that. And, a lot worse things get to a lot of people. So just dealing and, trying to draw inspiration where I can and seeing a lot of positive energy out there and people. I see you had some people on the march in St. Joe and Benton Harbor. Oh,
I bet there were easy over 1,000 people were there.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. It was powerful because it's where I went to high school. It's where I was born. I'm just like being a part of it, and people were masked, and I had on a hat, and people are like, I didn't see you there. I'm like, you didn't see it. You just saw bodies, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip you over, but before that, I want to show you the shirt I have on.
I saw that. I noticed. Excellent.
It's almost vintage now. I bet this is about 8 or 9 years old, I think.
I don't think they've had Garcia's open quite that
How long? 7 years?
Maybe something like that, yeah.
Gary Lambert in the house.
Hello.
Got a little Queens action going now.
That's right. 718.
You got the 718 and the 510, and so I saw a little bit of the show last night.
Mm-hmm. With Hornsby?
Yeah.
Or the concert part?
Yeah, no, Bruce Hornsby.
He's pretty awesome.
He's pretty awesome. I saw him play at Yoshi's.
Oh, that was great. I remember that.
And he just played whatever anybody wanted to. He knew everything.
Yeah, he actually did an all-request show, I think, with people wrote stuff on Cocktail.
Yep, I was there. Yeah. And I requested My One and Only Love.
And he played it.
Yes, he did.
Yes. He's got a big songbook in his head. He can play the standards, and he can play, and then go to an old Bill Monroe tune or whatever. So yeah, he's an amazing cat. Have really enjoyed the time I've gotten to spend with him over the years, and like having him in our little circle. So yeah, that was nice. That was really fun last night.
I would love to sing with him sometime.
Well,
Gary.
If we think it hard enough.
Gary. So what years? When I saw him play with the Dead?
Yeah. Well, his actual time, he had a period where he opened for them a few times, and became friends and sat in a few times. The actual period in which he went on the road with them was pretty brief. He came in toward the end of 1990, and then through 91 and a little bit into 92.
And what is he doing now?
Oh, he's been incredibly busy. He talked about that some last night. He put out a fantastic album last year. Has been working with a real variety of people. He'll go into a bluegrass project, and then he'll go into a jazz project. He had a killer trio together with Christian McBride and Jack DeJohnette.
Right. Yeah.
They did one album and one tour, and then everybody's so busy that it kind of drifted away. But then DeJohnette was back on his last album, so I'm sure he'll do something like that again. Some stuff with Pat Metheny.
So cool.
He's had this ongoing collaboration with Ricky Skaggs doing bluegrassy stuff. So he's one thing Bruce said is that he has taken this time to be really prolific as far as composing stuff and writing new songs, writing new instrumental stuff. So he's very self-motivated and always has things that he's interested in doing.
Yeah, I caught like 10 minutes and I went, oh, I need to go back and watch it, and I'm trying to figure out why you're so washed out, and I don't know.
I'm very washed out. I know. My image may be too close to the other screen, or I don't know, but I'm really.
Well, it's not. If I bring it far back, then it's.
Yeah. Well, that light on top of your screen.
That doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do it? That's very, very strange. I look like a ghost.
You kind of do.
I wonder if, sometimes if I turn down the light on my screen.
There you go.
Yeah, now my screen's really dark for me, but if it's better for people out there, I can make that sacrifice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm getting direct light from
Dim
my
all
own
the
screen.
lights, sweet darling. Oh, Mitch Mamina's here. Hi, Mitch Mammina. And Bill Winokur. Of Bill and Bo. So, yeah, groovy last night.
It was groovy, It's been groovy continuously. It's that's a real, that Friday evening thing is a real thing to look forward to for me. I'm just real busy in that world right now. Because I got my radio show going again, and I'm doing work for the record company, and so it's been weirdly all-consuming in a time when everything else is so shut down. But I ain't complaining. Well, I'm complaining about it a little, but not that much.
I can't believe all of a sudden today I said, I feel like I just saw Gary like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
This week just flew by. In my opinion.
I'm becoming distressingly unavoidable, it seems.
Yay. Well, hi, Mama Grace.
Yeah, and I'm actually, it's interesting, this new phase of doing the radio show, recording it a few days in advance and preparing, prepared pieces. That's like an interesting challenge. And tomorrow's show is going to be pretty cool.
What is tomorrow's show? Tell us.
Well, tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the release of Working Man's Dead.
Really?
Yeah, so we went real deep on that. The history of the album.
50.
We had some oral history that David Gans gathered. Stuff that the band members and the people who produced the album had to say about it. And I gave my personal reflection because that was what I was really getting into that stuff deeply, so I heard those songs. I heard the first performances of some of those songs, so I could recount that.
What do you mean?
Well, the songs that wound up on Working Man's Dead, the Grateful Dead started performing them in 1969, and I heard the first public performances of several of those songs at Fillmore East in 1969, and then I heard them develop them over the coming months, into the versions that wound up on the album. So that was I was a fly on the wall for this creative process that basically was transformative for them. It changed everything for them, because that album sort of got them out of the hole. It got them, heard on radio. So it's kind of fun, to revisit that stuff. And we put together a really good radio show about it.
I wish I had Sirius.
Yeah, well, for those who do, it's on tomorrow, and it's competing with your thing at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry to say, but they don't let me make those decisions about. I got to pull the show off the air. Jenna's playing.
We did it because of the weather.
Yeah.
It's the right time for the weather. Even I feel bad because Tuck and Patty are playing at the same time, and I like to watch that. That's my Sunday thing. But Tom goes, "How about we do 4 o'clock?" And I went, "Whenever you're available." So
you got to find your slot. One thing I'm excited about is the Village Vanguard just started its streaming series.
I saw that.
There was one tonight which I didn't. Billy Hart leading a quartet. And they had one tonight which I didn't get to watch, but I'm watching. They're doing a matinee at 2 p.m. tomorrow, and I've already bought my ticket for that. It's not a freebie. They need to make money to save the Village Vanguard, which is a sacred mission. So,
and do you buy it through the Vanguard?
Yeah, you go to their website. You can buy in advance, or just go up like when the show's about to start, and $7. And it's in the Village Vanguard without an audience. They're playing on that holy stage where so much of the greatest music ever played transpired.
We've been there a few times together.
We have been there a few times together, and it's my church, Mm-hmm. So, they've got Billy tonight, and I guess they're going to have an evening performance every Saturday and a matinee every Sunday. And next weekend it's VJ Iyer, and I think Joe Lovato's coming up in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be beautiful. So, villagevanguard.com if anyone's interested.
So between Village Vanguard and Smalls and Mesro, that's like little areas, our spots popping. Now we get I wonder if the 55 has started.
I'll have to check. I hope that people are able to do this, and get music out there while we can't get out there to meet them. So
we do our best, man. It's like it's just been. We've done 3 shows now. Outside. We've done 2 inside, 3 outside, and it saves my life.
Sure.
It's just like, and just to see Josh and Chloe and Mr. Hogan just now was really cool because I'm used to seeing that, Saturday night. I'm going to go. They're playing around somewhere. We're playing somewhere. They're playing somewhere, and yeah.
There was. I didn't get to see much of it, but I saw. Peter Affelbaum posted there was a social distance Charlie Parker marathon today that Mike McGinnis put together, and I saw a few minutes of that, and that was killing. They were outdoors on the sidewalk in front of somebody's apartment building in Brooklyn, I think. Very cool. It's
what you do. So New York City, I saw people are hanging out, lining up, doing stuff.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very cautious about this whole first phase of reopening because every place that's reopening, you see, that didn't work out too well.
Let them open.
Yeah, there's no way not to be ambivalent about this. Of course, you want people to be able to get out, and of course, you want restaurants and clubs and all that stuff to recover. And at the same time, you don't want to kill any more people. And, it's kind of, it's baffling to even know what to think about any of this. But we do know that the places that just said, oh yeah, let's just open up completely and, this is all a hoax and all that, the people who are buying into the company line from Washington right now, are, having surges already. Yeah. Spikes in infections and, It's tough.
It's tough all over.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you have for lunch?
I had some ramen. Some nice ramen. It was like not homemade. But it's like a nice organic brand of ramen. I don't even remember the name, but got it delivered from the local Fairway Market.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We have a Fairway here in Queens. Even though Fairway has been very financially imperiled itself before this happened, I think this may have actually helped their business because they're doing a lot of deliveries.
Good. I love Fairway.
Yeah, Fairway was about, when a Fairway came to Queens, it felt like, wow, civilization. So they've been my go-to place since they opened about, I guess, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And now we don't know if they're going to make it past this thing, but I keep patronizing them.
It's such an important market.
Yeah.
It really is. It's yeah.
Well, they're also, they were this local business for the longest time. They just had the store on the Upper West Side for like 60 years or so. And then they expanded to Harlem, and then they did the thing of getting like venture capitalists to like invest and try to expand too safe, and too fast, and they didn't think about the safety of how that would be financially for them. And they went bankrupt, and then they reorganized, and now it's the story of capitalism in a nutshell. It's like, that mania to get too much and too fast, and turn a local business into something bigger, and it's just it hasn't been that sustainable for them. I hope that they are able to survive, but it's kind of up in the air.
I've been watching what's happening in Marin and Fairfax. Harry's is closing, and then I heard 19 was closing, but then someone said no, that's just they're restructuring, and
right.
But I didn't even know the Phoenix had closed in San Rafael.
In Petaluma?
No, the Phoenix.
There's a Phoenix in San Rafael.
Saunders, Merle's son.
I'm pretty sure that's in Petaluma. The Phoenix Theater?
No, it's Fenix.
Oh, okay, that's something different. Okay.
That closed, and I don't know what's going to close. I don't know what's happening in the Bay Area as far as East Bay 510.
Yeah, it's scary. It's because musicians need a place to go back to when this is over, whenever this is over.
My friend Bill just asked if you had ever taken in the Monday night band at the Vanguard, and I was like, yeah.
I think only after the Thad and Mel days, unfortunately, which is a terrible oversight on my part. But they're a great band.
I've played with Phil Palumbi plays with the band sometimes, and trombone, Kevin's brother. Sorry. What's Kevin? What's the guitar player, Kevin, who played on...
Eubanks.
Kevin, his brother, Robin.
Robin
Eubanks.
I knew we would get this together.
Yeah. So, I'm curious. So, all the Sirius XM DJs, are they all doing their shows from home?
Well, there's very little live content right now. People are recording a lot. I think a few people have been allowed to work live from home, but the trouble is not being able to have the engineers in the building, in Manhattan. So, and because it isn't like one radio, it's like 150 radio stations.
Right.
That system, which means the building would be full of people. So they keep talking about possible ways we can go back live, but they're not there yet. And so they're either doing reruns of existing shows, or people like me are recording our shows in advance. What was that?
My
battery?
Low battery, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just do it till the battery goes out.
I'm listening. We're talking.
Yeah. So, it's kind of technologically daunting in that the only people they want to have in the building are the people who are crucially responsible to keep the system operating. So the people who engineer individual radio shows are not so much a priority at this point.
Oops, that was my trash can.
I liked it.
That was pretty good sound, wasn't it?
Yeah, a really nice percussive thing going on there.
I think Mark's been doing his show from home.
But live or recorded, you know?
I'll ask him tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing a show because, you know, you sort of put it together piecemeal. You know, you talk for like 15 minutes or whatever, and then you insert the music after rather than play a record and then say that was... You sort of fake that was.
So are you timing everything, or is somebody else putting it together for you?
Well, David and I time the segments, and then we figure out how much of the music can we fit in, and of course since our show is a talk show, it wasn't very music intensive. You know, we would take at most a couple of short music breaks per show. This allows us to play really long music segments if we want to. And then sort of pare down the talk to accommodate that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, do they have any idea when you may be going back?
If they have any idea, they're not sharing it with us. You know, they're being very cautious, understandably, and they have to. You know, they don't own the building that stuff emanates from. You know, it's part of Rockefeller Center, so they are under the constraints that the people who own the building want to enforce, you know, and then the building people are under the constraints that the city wants to enforce. So no one person can unilaterally make that decision. So we'll find out when they find out, I guess. And they may, you know, it's kind of there's like a star. So they're more prioritized to having Howard Stern on the air than they are us. You know, and they're more prioritized to having the celebrity kind of oriented programming.
I wonder how they're doing Howard Stern.
Well, he's got his own little empire unto himself. So I don't, you know, whatever
Howard wants, Howard.
Basically, yeah. I'm sure, you know, it's like CBS did a smart thing with Stephen Colbert, like very early in their process, in that they sent a satellite truck out to his house. You know, so they could do the uplink from there. You know, and they got the best possible cameras. So his show stopped looking like a home webcast very early.
Right.
You know, it looks utterly professional. Sometimes when they bring in a guest, the guest is coming from home. The guest looks a little funkier. But as far as the production values of that show, they're
kind of like you did tonight, right? We had to do some lighting, some tweaking
right,
on
yes,
it.
I brought in my best people to make that very subtle lighting adjustment.
Tell me about it.
But yeah, it's interesting seeing the different ways that you know, broadcast people have dealt with this and television people have dealt with it. Some people sort of like the funky aspect of it. You know, they're sort of unabashed about it, and that can be cool too. But as far as, you know, we don't have control or enough control over who makes these decisions, you know, as far as our show or our channel is concerned. So we'll do what we're doing now until we can do the other thing.
Oh, what did I? Oh, I know. That was the one thing people were talking about in the Bay Area, was hoping that maybe Bob might.
Oh, do his thing that he was doing at TRI Studios.
Yeah.
And he would like to. The studios have kind of been down for a while, you know, other than for rehearsing. Because when he opened that studio, they had some pretty ambitious plans, but they didn't have the business plan to go with it, you know.
Such a great space.
It's an incredible space, and, you know, but we are also in an age where so much music is being given away, which is a beautiful thing, that if
yes and no.
Yeah, well, of course.
No,
it's you know, well, no, I mean, it's great that we get to see our friends play, and it's great that people can share their music. It's not great that people can't make a living at it, you know, and that's the conundrum. And that's also been the conundrum for the music business, as far as, you know, all this streaming music that people can get for free. And just the fact that, you know, what used to take a lot of effort now just takes a couple of keystrokes.
On your phone.
Right. And that you know, that's always been my gripe, is that it isn't just that people are getting music for free, it's that you lose the sense that effort went into making this music,
right.
and you lose the sense that effort went into learning how to play this music, and when I think there's like total connection between the fact that people talk so damn much at concerts and the fact that they can get music so easily for free, because you lose that appreciation of the effort.
And while people are at a show too, they're either texting their friends that they're at the show, or they're holding up the phone so that they can record what they're seeing, and they're focusing on doing that instead of letting it
they can't be in the
be
moment.
The experience.
Yeah. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
Good to see you, or see your text. That's been a real pet peeve of mine, is that lack of attention to the moment.
Yeah. Yep. I just found out tonight my friends Kendall and Paul are going to be getting married in August, and they just called me. I said, the second you know when you're getting married, it was going to be a destination he's not getting. Okay. He's texting me.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. My friend Kendall, who shot a couple of my records, and he's an incredible photographer, and his partner Paul is a Broadway, just incredible. I can't even think this second but they're getting married. He just called, and they said, we're getting married in August, and we want you to come to the wedding. And I went, I guess I'm driving to New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to.
That's brave.
I need to be there. They're my brothers. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
He's a cabaret guy. He knows every cabaret. At his Kendall's 50th birthday, Paul had like every who's who of cabaret singers at the party, and I sang, and then another one, big bash, and we drank champagne till like 6 a.m, and then went back and drank the rest of it the next day.
Lovely.
So yes. I imagine the wedding will be something sort of like that.
Yeah, there's that cabaret community here in New York is really deep. Like so many incredibly talented people, and sort of a lot of variation on the way people define cabaret anymore, which I really like. It's like it's growing into a new century. There's a woman who I've become a big fan of named Lauren Fox. And she's got her day job. She and her sisters own these incredibly successful little tea shops called Alice's Teacup.
Oh, I know those. Okay.
Yeah, they started on the Upper West Side, and now they've got like two more in Manhattan and one in Brooklyn.
Good for them.
But she is a really talented singer, and her thing has been bringing the songwriters of our generation into the cabaret setting. So she did this wonderful show that was like alternating between the songs of Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell.
Right.
And she did a show all about the whole Laurel Canyon community of singers and songwriters. And I really love her work. And so I like the fact that cabaret doesn't just mean Cole Porter.
Oh no, I've been doing cabaret clubs for 20 plus years. I work with David Lahm.
Yeah.
He and his wife Judy had a place in Chelsea, and Judy's since left the planet, and now he is living with a woman part-time here in Michigan, and we haven't performed yet since this has all happened, but we've done quite a few shows together, and we probably will do something within the next month or two. David Lahm, his mom was Dorothy Fields.
Oh wow, that's pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's been on the show once, an 11:11 a.m. show. Hi, Roy Rodriguez. Yeah, they do the symphony concerts. Well, my friend Frank is in a wind symphony in a wind orchestra in Belgium, and they're still trying to figure out how they're going to do their, like the Nashville Symphony Orchestra just canceled their season.
Right. New York Philharmonic as well, and the Met
Opera.
Right.
Yeah. And I have a symphony concert in December here in Michigan. It's a 70-piece orchestra. I'm not sure if that will happen or not, but singers and flautists are the most. They're spreaders, super spreaders.
Right.
Because flautists, as they're playing, they're blowing somewhat into it, but they're blowing out.
Yes.
And then it's coming out, to the person next to them.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to have to think about that, but here we are having to think about it.
Oh, I thought about getting how a lot of restaurants are doing that plastic, the acrylic thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting like a plexiglass little 3-sided that I would stand in and sing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, for years, remember Charlie Hayden had terrible tinnitus? And he had this set up on stage.
Sure
He was
did.
like in this kind of little plexiglass box because just the sound of the cymbals could be torture to him, and he played beautifully in those conditions, obviously.
My friend Lisa Flores is on. Lisa's a wonderful singer, guitar player, friend of mine, and she was married to Norton Buffalo for many years.
Uh-huh.
And I used to play with Norton and hang out with him when I worked at Russian Hill Recording Studio.
Right.
I met him decades ago, and then I met her at a yoga teacher training, and we started talking, and she said, yes, my husband is a musician. I'm like, oh, really? Who's your husband? She said, Norton Buffalo. I'm like, oh, my God, I know Norton. So,
that was great.
And then she and I became like sisters like that.
Very cool.
She's in Port Angeles. She was living in Paradise for many years. She and Norton were together in Paradise until he passed away, and then she stayed in Paradise, and then she moved up to Washington. So we have, and Leslie Sobelson is on. She's in Berkeley. So we have Berkeley, Austin, Port Angeles, I think. Sorry, Lisa, my brain's not working. Coast to coast, because Bill's here from Boston.
Well,
And you.
Lisa says Port Townsend.
Port Townsend, okay.
Right.
All right, thank you. I miss you, Lisa. And I miss you, Leslie. I miss our Fridays together. Leslie works at Outback for Debbie and Courtney. Wow, so many people are here. This is my friend Gary Lambert. Gary and I know each other from the Bay Area. He works with the Grateful Dead. He worked with Bill Graham. He's just this super cool guy. He's a big Mama's Royal Cafe fan.
Yes, indeed.
And lives in Queens. So
Mama's Royal Cafe is like the source of my greatest pangs about not being in the Bay Area. Everything else is sort of compensated for, but Mama's Royal Cafe is a tough one. I have learned how to replicate some of their omelets pretty well.
Really?
I'm gonna try to take on their ranchero sauce. That could be a lifesaver if I can learn how to master the secret of their ranchero sauce. I could. I'd get by a lot better.
That's how I knew to find Russ there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Russ is big.
Yeah. I actually, about a year or so ago, I made myself my version of the Mama's chicken avocado and jack omelet, and I got the home fries pretty nailed too, and I photographed it and I put it on Facebook and submitted to the scrutiny of Mama's Royal Cafe staffers and the former owner George, and I got some pretty high grades for it. They said that looks pretty much like the real thing, and it tasted pretty much like.
I like their home fries, but I'm more of a homemade cafe home fry girl.
Huh? I have to think about it. I like the homemade too. I do like the homemade, but Mama's, I was just so used to them. I started going there about a week after they opened.
Oh, okay.
Because I was staying with people. I hadn't moved out to the Bay Area quite yet, but I was staying with people. So my first experience there was like, oh man, this place is so cool. And then I moved into that neighborhood when I moved out some months later. So
that's why I did the homemade.
Yeah, I've often said I could have gotten my mail at Mama's Royal Cafe because I was there on an almost daily basis, either just to pick up a coffee to go or whatever, but several breakfasts a week.
So good. When I lived on Sacramento, that was my first place in Berkeley, which is right like kitty corner to Outback, which is how I started working at Outback. But I lived 4 houses down from the homemade cafe, and on Sunday mornings you could go and sign up, go home and take a shower, and then walk back down to the Homemade, and then I would go to work at Outback.
Hey, Melanie says she used
No,
to
you
work
worked at the Homemade. You did? When?
Too much.
Who was working there then? What? Wow. Maybe that was before. What year is Melanie? I didn't know that. Can we bring Melanie on camera? Melanie, are you down to be on camera? I miss you. I like the trio.
Uh-huh.
Let me know if you do. Then you can request or I can request. You worked at the Homemade. Now I have to start thinking. Were you there when what's her name? Comedian that she was a cook. Help me, Melanie. 1989. Oh, I was there. So 1989. So Corinne was a wait staff waiter there. She wants to be on the video.
All
Hold
right.
on. I love it.
And my nephew, actually, speaking of pangs for Bay Area eateries, sent me a picture of a really cool Lois the Pikeweed t-shirt.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey, Melanie.
Hey! How you doing?
You worked at the Homemade?
Well, in 1989, remember they opened up another one that was in Emeryville. They had just opened it up, and I worked there.
Where was
But, you know, huh?
Where was
I cannot hear you very well. I don't know why.
Me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind of better. Yeah. It's
Hi,
so
Melanie.
good to see you, Gary. I can't believe. Yeah, I worked at the Homemade for about 3 months.
I was there.
Wow.
You know.
Norm's still there. They still own the Homemade.
Well, the guy who owns the Homemade now was a busboy when I was working at the Homemade. He now owns it now.
So Norm sold.
Yeah, Norm sold. So, and you know, for years, I've known Norm forever and ever. I had no idea that he was Melanie Berzon's brother.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I lived. How many houses did I live within 10 blocks tops? I've lived Carlton Street, 2 houses, Grant Street, Derby Street, 2 houses, and Sacramento, 6 houses within 10 blocks of the Homemade Cafe. Most of
Did you know Linda Berry?
Berkeley.
Did you know Linda Berry at Homemade?
Oh,
Linda
yeah.
Berry.
Linda Berry, the chiropractor?
No, Linda Berry. She was probably the person who was the longest wait being at Homemade. She was there for like 25 years. Short, sweet as she could be. Yeah, I know you know her. I mean, she was like a pillar of the Homemade. Yeah.
Well, then the sisters, the twins, the sisters that worked at the Homemade, they now worked, and I can't think of their name. They now work for my friend Victoria down in Cambria.
No kidding.
I'll think of their name. But my friend Corey, my girl Corey, she ended up being my roommate when we were at the Homemade. I was eating lunch there one day, and she had a little sticker or a little note on her apron that said, my son and I are looking for a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, come live with me. And then they did that. And, oh, yeah, Homemade Cafe, like my whole adult
Oh,
life.
yeah. It's the only time I didn't make my living as a was the first 3 months that I was here. And
Norm and Melanie are brother and sister. That right there. Who's the comedian? The what's her name?
You think
She was a cook at the Homemade.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. I can see her face. Because she also has been a cook at a couple of other places since then. But she's funny as hell. Gosh, I can see her face. It's terrible.
She cooked down at the what was the place on San Pablo? Way back.
Oh, Brick Hut. The Brick Hut.
The Brick Hut. Yeah, she worked at the Brick Hut also.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is her name? I can see her face.
Sorry.
So another connection.
Yeah, we're 5'10"ing here, you guys.
Boy, we are.
Big time 5'10"ing.
Deep in the 5'10".
And Melanie, are you home?
I am home. Almost all day I've been watching the Body Music Festival.
Isn't it fantastic? Wasn't it great?
It is incredible.
Yeah.
That Keith and all of those extraordinary people. I mean, it was just what I needed because, I have been gripped up with all the stuff that's going on in the world. And it was just beautiful. Just beautiful. So
Keith Terry had a Body Music Festival from noon, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's still
people
going on
all
now.
over the world. It should be over. It's just about over now. But they had people from these body percussionists from all over the world. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I love it.
I hope they archive it. I'd like to.
It's on
completely
Facebook Live, so you can go to Keith.
Everything is there.
Body Music.
It's all there. Yeah.
I'm sure it's
well,
on.
Thanks for letting me pop in. Thanks for letting me pop in.
I love that you're here and you just. Mama Grace is here still, you guys.
Hi, Mama Grace. I feel like I'm one of Mama Grace's children, even though I've never met her.
You are. You both are.
Yep. That's nice to know.
I went to the farmer's market today. Before the march, I went to the farmer's market, and there's a guy there, the cheese guy.
Oh.
And you don't do samples anymore.
Right.
But you just say, I want, there's a table and then a table in front of them. Oh, there she is. Mama Grace is saying hi. And
hi, Mama Grace.
I had $30 to spend at the market. I'm like, I'm going to spend $30. I bought some asparagus and then I bought $25 worth of cheese. It's not very much when you spend it from the cheese guy, but it's some of the best cheese.
Yeah, you have to savor it.
Yeah. So we had cheese, crackers, and smoked oysters, and watermelon, and strawberries, and wine.
Yeah.
We had some wine.
That is definitely an early summer meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an early summer meal.
Crackers.
Well, it's good to see you, my darling, and you too, Gary. One day I'm going to hug up on you, guy. I like you.
Oh, boy. Can't wait, Melanie.
Gary, we're taking this show on the road, Yeah.
Come to the Freight.
We're going to do a show at the Freight. 11 with Jenna. And Melanie's going to be there. And hopefully Delilah from Mexico. And
absolutely.
Well,
it's on.
Yeah. And see, at the Freight, we can bring Lily and Pearl. We can bring Lillian with us, too. They'll let us do that at the
middle of the bed right now. She's like this in the middle of the bed. We walked a lot today.
Please take care of yourselves.
So, Gary, we'll have to plan that. You too, Melanie. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you, Melanie.
Yeah. Good to see you. Bye, babies.
Bye.
Care.
Guest. Without guest. Hugs will be awesome. Do you remember I've had this conversation with you, but I don't remember who you said. Do you remember the last person you hugged?
Man.
Or hugged you?
Well, it's funny. One of the last things I was at was that event.
Memorial?
No, it was the benefit for Aaron Johnston for his kidney transplant. So there were so many musician friends of mine there. So already things were starting. So the hugs may have been tentative, but there were some hugs. So might have been Joe Russo, might have been Stephen Bernstein, might have been there were some quality huggers there. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it just seems it's just the elbow or the.
Yeah, just a little bit of human contact.
That's what I do. I hug all my friends like this.
Right. You're a good hugger. I know from experience.
So are you. Well, I'm really happy to be here tonight with you, Gary. And now is my time to ask, will you come back next Saturday night?
Yeah, I've been thinking, well, one of these times I'm going to take a Saturday night off. And
You want to take next Saturday off?
See, but then like next Saturday I might be going, oh man, I wish I was there. But
you can think about it.
Yeah, let me think about it. I need to see how because I've got all this stuff I've got to do.
Yeah.
But it's always a few days away that I can figure out exactly how heavy the load's going to be. Let me get a day or two into the new week,
okay,
and I'll let you know. But don't count me out. I could definitely make it.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you all for being here tonight, too.
Yeah,
and Melanie, too. Melanie DeMore. She worked at the Homemade Cafe. I never knew that.
That's so perfect, I'm actually amazed that I never worked at Mama's Royal Cafe.
I am, too.
I somehow I never wound up at that point where I needed to be a dishwasher or a busboy or something like that. Some other job would creep in, but I would have been proud to work there because the people who work there are so awesome.
My friend Terry worked there.
Who?
Do you remember Terry?
Yes. Oh, yes. He was good friends with Larry Friedman, who you were in the band with.
Mean Joe Green and the Kid.
Mean Joe Green and the Kid. So that. I knew Terry. Terry became a firefighter.
Yes, he did. He was. Yeah. I remember when he took his test.
Yeah, he was still at the Royal.
Yep.
When he was getting ready to do that. Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
I love you, man. Thank you.
I love you so much. I'm so glad we have this connection in life and this regular way of talking. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Gary Lambert. And your show starts to tell us, he's gone, tomorrow on Sirius XM, 4 p.m. Same time my show is on tomorrow, but, you can, if you have Sirius, Mary Carson. Hi, Mary Lee. Hi, Mary Lee. I don't have a hat on tonight. I did have one on earlier, but I took it off. So, yes, tomorrow at 4 p.m., 11:11 tomorrow during the day is with Gary. I didn't even get to say mwah, mwah, really, but mwah, mwah. Tomorrow at 11:11 a.m., Mark Ruffin of Sirius XM Jazz will be here and talking about his new book that's coming out in September. And then tomorrow at 4 p.m. on my Facebook Live page, myself and Tom Costanzo will be performing in his yard. Good night. Goodbye. And then tomorrow night, my friends Susan and Matt are going to be here, and they're just two of the coolest people. And then Monday day is I meander. I hang out online, and sometimes people float on, and like how Melanie did, maybe Melanie will show up. And then Monday night, I do a singing meditation. And Tuesday night, hi, Diane Bond. And Tuesday night, Alex DeGrassi of Windham Hill. He's a fingerstyle, not even just a guitar player. He's an incredible, incredible artist. He will be here Tuesday, and then Wednesday, my friend Coakley Co. is here, and we're going to be talking about grounding and still more immune stuff and gobies, because we love to talk about our gobies. And then Thursday night is Corona Roki International. It's really fun. And then it's Friday again, and then Saturday, one more Saturday. So either Gary will be here next week, or I will have another guest next Saturday night. But I will be here 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. every day, Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week. 7 days, 14 times a week. And I love it. And I am grateful when people donate. And if you'd like to donate, I have a PayPal, a Venmo, or you could become part of my Patreon page, which is really fun, because on my Patreon page I have videos with my guests where I ask them fun questions that you don't see here on my page, on my Facebook Live. And I know Mary Lee's here, and she has donated, and Diane has donated, and many of you have donated to 11:11 with Jenna, and I appreciate that so very much. I'm so grateful. And Julie floats on and in and stays, and she's ordered CDs, and people are ordering CDs. And then at our show tomorrow, people come. So if you are in St. Joseph, Michigan, Berrien County, bring a chair, and people are bringing picnic baskets, and we're going to be playing 2 sets. We start at 4 p.m. and that's my spiel. So thank you, Gary Lambert, and thank you all for scrolling on and sticking around and hanging out, and thank you, Melanie, DeMore, and I am going to go walk my dog and then chill. Thank you. Good night, Mama Grace. Good night, all of you. Good night, Joseph. Oh, but you're with your other grandchildren in Colorado. I don't even know how long you're going to be there. I'm peeking. I'm waiting to see. I'm going to hang out here. Oh, and Josh and Chloe, too. That was great earlier. Good night, Diane Bond. Miss Orlando, Miss Florida. Miss Florida. Diane Bond. Ruth Love. Good night. Good night, Dave. Good night, Ruth. And Ruth, you sounded fabulous. Oh my goodness gracious, last night. Thank you for the concert. I watched. Beautiful. Sing every day. You sound beautiful. 2 weeks. Wow. Good night, Scary Mary. Were you at the march today? It was pretty powerful. It was pretty powerful. Peace. Big hug to you, Mary. I miss you. Come tomorrow. Mary Carson, you're here. 4 o'clock. Right on the corner of State Street and Main Street. South State Street and Main Street. And hopefully you can do Coronaroki. Hey, Chef Sean Hale. When are you going to be on my show, Chef Sean Hale? When are we going to go for a hike and eat food? I was just saying good night. I'll message you, and I'm gonna message you now after I hang up and book you for the show. Oh, hugs, lots of hugs. Thank you. One more hug. One more hug. Thank you. So now I'm going to message you, and you can be part of 11:11 with Jenna. Cool. Remember, love heart.